We're in Wisconsin.
Everyone's, yeah, okay.
Yep. All right, here we go. In three, two, one. It is the Welcome to Cooperville podcast, the live Twitch quarantine sessions. My buddy Greg Upchurch from Three Doors Down is on. Welcome, sir. How are you doing today?
I am good. I'm healthy.
That's really the most important thing, I think, for everybody at this point.
I'm healthy. I'm home. My family's here.
Mm.
Everyone's healthy. The sun is shining outside. Birds are chirping. It's a pretty good day so far.
You kind of, it really does, this whole thing, because it has so many different names, so many different titles, quarantine, safer at home, the COVID-19, the pandemic. This thing that we're all going through, I think has really given, hopefully, a lot of people can find mass appreciation in the things that you kind of used to wake up every day and it was there, and maybe you acknowledged it, maybe you didn't. Birds chirping, the sun being out, the smell of fresh air. I mean, all those things you just kind of went through your day.
Social interaction.
Right. Human beings, remember those? Those were great. I miss them.
I see them on my phone all the time.
I know their faces show up in video form, which, we were kind of talking before we went live here about social media and ways of communicating now are like, it feels like we've all gone and now we're like teenagers. We're living as the teenagers live now, because they live on their mobile devices and on their iPads. And now we're like, oh, now we all have to do that. You guys need to teach us how to do that. My kid teaches me how to use Twitch. He's like, here, this is the button you push. I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks. I appreciate that.
I have a 14-year-old, so he's kind of like my advisor. I kind of run things by him,
mm-hmm.
but he's tough to get a meeting with these days. Even though he's right over there, he's busy. He's got a lot of things going. He's got the headphones on. He's talking to his buddies next door and stuff, because they can't go out. I mean, they're our next door neighbors, and they can't really hang out. So they're playing these games with each other on their phones, or their headphones, their Xbox. And so we're kind of like, I don't know what to do, because as a parent, it's hard to parent through this, because we don't know we're just as confused as they are. And it's kind of like, do you let them kind of, you got to keep some structure in it, but there's no school, and, and everybody's home now. So you just kind of like, it's time to get to know your kid. It's kind of like, let's try to take advantage of some of that stuff as families and get to know each other better, because we all can do that, even with people that we live with every day.
Yeah, because we get caught up in the day-to-day, in the routines, and when you have kids in school, their morning routine, they're gone, for you on the road doing things, there's a lot of distraction. The routine is the routine, but now you have to kind of formulate this. Okay, now we have the opportunity. We don't have time anymore. Now we have the time. So let's interact with them. I mean, I've spent more time with my 9-year-old than I probably have not in years, but just because there's not that 6-7 hours out of the day where he's gone at school or after school activities.
Right.
So you really get, I think, it's been interesting to get that perspective of, okay, this is their mentality. Like, he's taking it really well. Like, I'm not that I'm like freaked out about the whole thing, but they adapt. Like, oh, so there's no school. Okay, well, I got my friends, they'll pull up Zoom and they'll have, 9 friends on a Zoom chat, and it's like they're all hanging out at the lunch table. It's crazy.
Yeah, now we're all having to be fluid like that and kind of like adapt to these certain, the circumstances, I've left the house probably twice in the past 3 weeks, and just to go to the grocery store.
Right. Necessities.
That felt like going, that was scary. Like, just getting out. It was just weird, but I'm not a hypochondriac or anything, but it's like, it affects everybody, this whole, worry. But yeah, my boy's taking it good too. He's taking it in stride. So I'm impressed by that. And as long as he's good, I mean, it's kind of like happy wife, happy life kind of things, happy son, and happy family. Everybody's getting along, and nobody's throwing anything at each other, like a Thanksgiving dinner kind of thing. So it's just the immediate
Right.
family here. So we're doing good. We're holding up all right.
Yeah, it's really I love the fact that there is when you go out in public, and again, it's few and far between those chances you get to go out and do it. But maybe it's because of the movies that we've watched or the ways that we've always like perceived this kind of pandemic, or some people call it like what a zombie apocalypse would look like. Because you go out and you see people, the masks are on, and there's a real. It may be a little different up here because Wisconsin, we're like friendly all the time. So this has been especially difficult for us. We're always like, oh, excuse me, pardon me, I didn't mean to be in your space. We're like super. Oh, I'm in your way. Now everybody's like got this kind of standoffish, like, oh man, are you within 6 feet? Like, is this cool? Can we be in this? So it's kind of it's weird to look at, but when you get to come home and everybody is healthy and everybody is safe, and the big thing, nobody's throwing shit across the across the table, you kind of take every day as a win. If you're like, oh, nobody got a frying pan to the head today, I feel like we've won the day.
Right. And it's such a strange thing because I really never hardly know if it's a Tuesday, a Saturday. And that's the strange thing. Like, time is so irrelevant in the sense, like, because obviously I'm not working. And the hard part is knowing that I'm probably going to be the last person in the economy of getting the economy back that's going to be able to work.
Right.
Because my work is playing concerts and shows and entertaining people. And that one's like, oh, I don't know. Like, but I'm thinking, like, at least with sporting events, but they're starting baseball. They're talking about bringing sporting events back without fans.
Right.
And I don't know how that would work. I don't think that, because the energy of I'm sure I've been in Wisconsin, you've probably been to a Packer game. Like the momentum of a crowd, what it impacts a game. So you can't, if without that, it's going to be pretty, we're watching, it's just weird. It's going to be watching a scrimmage. So it's going to feel like.
Right. Yeah. And who knows, players might be wearing masks and stuff. It'll be just, again, that apocalyptic kind of a movie scene that you envision, like, oh, well, then there's nobody in the stands. Oh, there's nobody at the show. It's, live streaming concerts. I remember when this whole first thing started, not started, but when they did clamp down really on the music industry, St. Patty's Day is one of my favorite holidays. And I remember going out, and we always go to the same place and pick up corned beef and cabbage. They've been doing it for 100 years. I think the owner came over on the boat from Ireland, but came home and watched Dropkick do a live concert on St. Patty's Day, because they always do it in Boston, with no crowd. That
was the first one I remember seeing. Was that one.
Nobody. And this was obviously before the real regulations, because they were still, the band was together. They had a small film
people
crew.
Were out in St. Patty's Day. I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
People were different parts of the country.
But it's just, I'm glad that there's been the one thing that this has opened up, and I think this ties really nicely into what you've been working on and what you've put together, is artists having time to really hone in on their creativity and find different ways and avenues of getting their music out, getting I think closer proximity with fans, having fans be able to kind of see what. Now we're all on the level playing field. Like, you're up on the riser, on the stage, and now you're just like us, stuck in your house. Going to the grocery store becomes like the week's big adventure. So it has kind of brought, I think, a sense of closeness between artist and fan, which has been really cool. But you've had some time to really put some creative powers to use.
Yeah, I mean, I've always written songs just for me, just kind of around the house like most people do. But this one, I never sang before, but I thought of, like, because what happened was I was about to open a coffee shop. I was in Oklahoma, where I'm from, like out on the lake, out in the middle of nowhere, this little town. And I've been working 2 years on it. And I finally got all my finances and my loan. I had an investor. We were going to do this. And then this thing happened. I was there finalizing it when the South by Southwest concert was going on, and they canceled that. And I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And by the time I got back home to Nashville, everything was shut down, and the investor was like, no. But thank God I didn't open up a business 2 months ago.
Right.
And been like really deep in this. So I didn't have that. But then that coupled with the fact that we had to cancel a show, and we haven't played a show since September. I haven't played a show in that long. And I need to play a show just to play a show.
Yeah.
And that got canceled. Then our European tour was all in June. And then when they canceled, we were going to play the Download Festival and the Rock and Ring, the big festival. And they, obviously canceled that. So I was pretty depressed and bummed out. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening here? All this has, and I started watching the news, and this is happening to everybody in some way or another. Everybody. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is, it really put me in a dark spot. And the kid, I have a friend of mine who rents a room in my basement, and he's an engineer. He's like, you should just write a song about it. And I was like, okay. So I went up here and I wrote that song in 20 minutes. I'm like, dude, I wrote a song. Let's go record it. And I was like, I'm the only, I can play guitar. I can play it good enough because it's just a simple pop rock song. There's nothing difficult about it. But I'm like, I wrote about like how I felt, and it was the easiest thing I've ever written. And I was like, just because I'm like, when is the next time the whole world is going to be in the same place? Kind of
right.
It relate to something like this. And because it's not depressing. It's not it's a kind of frustrated song, but it's positive. It kind of encapsulates everything I think we should feel is frustration, but we are going to get through this. It's going to suck, but we're going to get through this. The human spirit. And one thing we're finding out is it reminds me similar to like the 9/11 thing, like after that happened, like this. But this is almost like humanity. It's bigger than just New York City or America. This is a world thing, a global thing, where we're becoming a little bit more compassionate to one another and a little bit more open. Like we're all going through this together as a species. It's not just a terrorist act of some sort. So this is unique. I mean, who knows what's going to come of this, because this is like, it almost reminds me like the invention of the internet, like life just changed.
Right.
Like the same thing here. We're going to have to adapt. I can't imagine not having concerts in some form of fashion because that's too magical of an experience for people. Because, you go to like, how I can always tell, like it's such an important thing is everybody remembers their first one.
Right.
It's like their first love. It's like everybody remembers their first concert. It's the same kind of thing. So we can't, that's going to go away. But I mean, that can't go away. But like going back to the Dropkick Murphys, it's hard for a band to play, so do something like that, to know, like after we finish this song, there's no applause, silence. People are watching. There could be millions of people watching, and I'm sure they're loving it. But to keep the energy for a band is weird like that. It's like going back to the scrimmage. It's a rehearsal, but you're trying to put everything in it,
Yeah, and I imagine the difficulty for putting on something like that, and even for, because I want to get to the fantastic way the music video for Skin to Skin was put together. I thought it was just fantastic. But I think that there is an element, even watching, the Dropkick thing from home, it really made me miss being at a concert as a fan of music. And
that's what it should.
The performance, the sing-alongs. I mean, that's a big part of it too. Not just the applause after the song, but especially when you have a catalog like Three Doors Down has. I mean, people know the lyrics to every song, and to not have that, when you're performing, or not have that even as a part of your life, since September, but to be able to kind of put all those feelings and emotions, pen to paper, to writing the music for it, to putting the music video together, which there's 4 of you, and you all have your own space. There was great social distancing during the video. you kept
I was
yourself
there.
you kept yourself 6 feet away from yourself, which is always good. But it seems like that you found the outlet for what you were going through emotionally in that writing process, and then the creativity process, which every artist has. You were able to kind of get some of those things out by putting together a fun video, putting it out on YouTube, dropping the song. So there seems to be some getting that creativity, getting the juices flowing again, can be very therapeutic. It seems like.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was all, like I said, it's kind of spur of the moment. I wasn't planning on releasing a single during a pandemic. That's
right.
I wasn't
on the schedule.
Plan. I can't wait. Finally, the pandemic. I can write this. I can release this song I wrote. It didn't happen. Like, it was obviously written right. A few weeks ago. And I had to do it myself because that was the hand I'm dealt, kind of thing. But like I said, having the kid, I keep calling him kid, the young man, Marshall.
Yes.
His name is Marshall Baston, whiz kid on the engineer. He also does monitors for Craig Morgan, the country artist.
Oh, nice.
But he's a little engineer and I keep saying a little bit. Anyway, he's an engineer. Just having him here, because we're already in the same home together. So there's nobody at the studio and it's about 2 miles up the street. I'm like, let's just go. I'll just go ahead and track it all. And so he recorded me down. And the video idea, I'm like, well, that's how I'll do the video is I'll just do a live take of each instrument, and just put it all together. I mean, simple, easy. I'm like, but then after it was done, I was like, oh, it really does encapsulate like a quarantine, self-quarantine. Because like, I'm just in my room by myself doing this all. That's all, because that's kind of exactly how it was, because it was done in that way. It wasn't an intentional thing. Like I said, it was a plan, but it was like, it all magically kind of worked together for that. And like I said, doing like interviews and stuff, I've never really done a lot of them. So like, it's helping me deal with what my reality is with concerts and playing, because it's addictive to have those crowds sing those songs to me. I mean, it's like a drug.
Yeah.
Playing the drums. I mean, it just releases those the adrenaline and everything. I would compare it to like heavy duty drugs. I mean, because if I could let people feel what I feel, they'd be like, oh my God, what you feel. And so I miss that.
Yeah.
So, this is a different version of that, because I'm getting to talk to people like you in interviews and talk about it, because people are enjoying something that I created, and I created from the ground up, which is awesome feeling for me. And it gives me confidence to like, well, I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to, maybe I don't sing as bad as I think I sing, I can, maybe I can, as long as I write it and be smart, don't try to do any crazy stuff. I can, because I'm like, I'm not writing songs for anybody but me. So if I like it, then I'm the only judge and jury of it till I put it out there and just see what happens. And so, okay, people have the same taste in some ways as I do, but then again, I can hear something and I'm like, man, that sounds like a good pop song, or it sounds like a good catchy song. It's not, because it always goes back to that Willie Nelson line, it's 3 chords in the truth, It's like, it's nothing. It's not rocket science. I didn't overthink anything. That's why whenever you hear these stories about these great songs, they're all written in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
That's the same way with that one. I'm not comparing it to great songs, but I'm just saying that's what happened. So for me, it was my great song, my easy song, and people happen to dig it. So that's what's cool about it. It's like, oh, cool. Now I know if I have to write a song and it takes me, 2 days, get rid of it.
Burn it.
Just keep playing until I write that magical thing where everything just falls into place, because, writing lyrics to it is a tough part. And as a drummer, I don't really, and I write something and I just had the first line and that's all it took. And then I was just off to the races. It's just like how I felt about everything. So, and then the video, like I said, it was awesome because it didn't cost me anything.
It was low budget.
Yeah, very low. It's all guerrilla style. The whole thing's cost me $30 so far.
See, that's the times, man, though. But I think the the songwriting element of it, when you have those emotions and the feelings that you're going through during something, and that when you open that valve up and you just kind of let it rip, that's when it comes out, because it's all raw, it's all real, it's all relative to the current state of affairs and stuff. But the fact that, writing this kind of song during this kind of experience that the world is going through, that's where that connection comes in. Because I heard that song and I go, I get exactly what he's saying.
Right.
It's not a lot of songs you can take, and I had a great conversation with my friend Nixon from Framing Hanley last night about he can write a song, or an artist can write a song about one particular thing, or maybe it's about nothing in general, but a fan can hear it and they can take that song interpretation on their own and say, well, this song, I relate to a relationship, or I relate to a family experience or a life experience, where maybe it wasn't written for that intent, but this song was written, because of what's going on, and everybody experiencing it at the same time goes, I 100% can relate to what Greg wrote on that song. And I think that's where the connectivity comes in between music and what people need right now is a message of, okay, we're going to get through this, and it's, we're going to get back to some semblance of normal. Now, what normal is going to look like in a month or 2 months or 6 months is who the hell knows at this point. We just got extended the stay-at-home extension until the end of May, so we have another 30 days up here. So, and
I'll take it. I live in Tennessee. They're pretty much opening shop back up here, and I'm not really quite ready for it. I don't think it's a very good decision at all, because my thing is I don't want to go through this again.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit there and toy with this. If it takes another month, 2 months, even if we can really get this thing under control, let's get back, and then we can get back a little safer. But you keep hearing about these resurgence in the fall and all that stuff. No, we won't have that if we all just suck it up a little longer. Now, I want to get back to work too, like I said, and I'll be the last one to get the call.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I'm looking at the longer term. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm hoping. Give them time to get their medical preparedness for something to happen, instead of just in August or October, all of a sudden it hits again and everybody's got the flu and the flu's back, and now we don't, the hospitals are jam packed. So I appreciate the fact that they're holding it until May there, whereas here, in Georgia and these states are some of the, they're opening up shop because people got to get back to work. I get it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's a fine balance.
Yeah. As a small business owner myself, and not having that income come in during this time is, it's a struggle. It's financially it's not an ideal situation to be in, but I'm not driving down to the state capitol and banging on the governor's door saying open it back up or this. Right. I'm content making sure at this juncture that my family is good, is safe. Nobody's lost their shit yet. Like you said, there's not bowls flying around during dinner, right, or and luckily we still can go outside and bike or run and kind of get some of the 9-year-old out, as I like to say.
Right.
You should go get some. Let's go do. I think it's time for Phi-Ed as part of your homeschooling. Let's go throw a tire around. That's a good idea. He loves that. Right. I make him do that. But I think, I don't want to have to do this again in 6 months or in 5 months, and I don't want the can to be kicked down the road further for things that I'm passionate about, including concerts, including going to music festivals, including having one-on-ones with artists. It's not something I want to see. Now we're in 2021, and Greg has now 12 songs out because he's been had to sit at home and needed to get the creative energy out. But
But with that song also, I just wanted to make sure when I look back at it, I was like, okay, it was cool. I was like, okay, I finished writing that song. I was reading the lyrics again, and I was like, I didn't say anything about the COVID-19. I didn't say anything about masks, or I wanted to kind of leave it open ended to with like it would stand 5 years from now,
Right.
hopefully. Like it doesn't. It's not too much,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it's definitely everybody gonna. You're gonna hear that song. You're gonna know exactly what it's about.
Right.
There's no subliminal like message or like I'm gonna interpret it this way. No, there's no other way. But hopefully, it's something that won't just go away when the virus goes away. And I'll take that though. If that's the price I pay, that's the price I pay. I'd definitely rather not have this happen at all. And I could write a song about riding a motorcycle or whatever, and then have that be great. That'd be fantastic too. But like I said, it's helping me cope with it. But I just want to make sure I wrote it, like, is it just a good song?
Right.
Does it, and plus, like I said, I didn't want to write anything sappy or sad or depressing or, I wanted to be jamming, rocking. Yeah. I don't know. It's something that you can want to do this to.
Yeah. It's a head bopper, man. It's not, slow.
That's because I'm a drummer and I know rhythms usually, and that helps. I get that because when I write a song, I'm usually trying to think, okay, how's this going to groove? Because like I'll write some funky stuff sometimes or heavy. It just depends. But, it's usually like, is this going to be, even if it's a ballad, is it grooving?
Right.
Does it make me want to just dance in some way? Or I like this song makes me want to drive my car.
Yeah.
Like, that, or some, just get in my car and just, tap on my, I don't know. That's how, there's two different types of car music. Now there's that rock and stuff. And then there's the Eagles, which I love. Like when I'm in New Mexico and Colorado or something at night and had the windows down, listening to, anything by them. But yeah.
Yeah, the man just wants to get behind the kit, man. Have you had a chance to talk to the other guys in the band and kind of see how everybody else is going and getting through?
Yeah, we've all been, getting through it. We've had a writing session on Zoom.
Nice.
Which was interesting. It's because you can't play something and he can't, because if I'll play a guitar part or Chris will play a guitar part or whatever, and Brad will sing to that. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times what we have to do is, it's adapting. We have to send him things but at least there's some sort of, we're communicating and trying to, because there's got to be something. I've been brainstorming. I've got an idea. I'm not going to bring it up now, but I'm like, it could be brilliant for us to do in this whole thing. Because if we're writing, it's actually a PJ Harvey. You've heard of her?
Yep. PJ. Yep.
A friend, my old guitar player, Alan Johannes, he played guitar with her, and the way she did her record, and I'll just leave it at that. She did a record in England that was kind of unique, and I want to do the same kind of idea here, but online kind of thing. But like I said, I'm spending too much long on this. Let's move on.
Anyway, for my next number, here is a bird. No, it's I think that is, I kind of touched on it, but there's, when you put a lot of artists in out of their element, not out of their element necessarily, but not having what they really thrive on. And for the majority, it is that live show. The writing is a part of it. The album is a part of it. Going through cover art is a part of it. Every little piece is a part of the grand picture. But where it all started was the performance, was whether it was in the garage or whether it was, playing small clubs or, playing in school band. It was always about the performance. And this is obviously, this time of the year is usually when the tours kick off. You're talking about going overseas, later on this summer in June, and all these things happen. Festivals, they all happen during this time. So when those things are unattainable, the creative stuff just starts to kind of go, well, I can't go that route. I can't be behind the kit. I can't, what can we do to get it out of us? And really, I think there's going to be an amazing amount of music that comes out of this. I think there's going to be art that comes out of this. And I think there's going to be, I think, a lot of new, utilizing technology, and even technology is going to evolve from this to where maybe the songwriting process is a little bit different now. And
Mhm.
but that opens up some capabilities. If you want to have a guest vocal or a guest, guitar riff or something, maybe there's a way that it becomes a little bit easier, and that produces even more fantastic music. But all these artists like yourself that are unable to go out and do their craft, it's great to hear that energy and that talent is being honed into, okay, what can we do? We can write, we can throw some tracks down, maybe we lay some groundwork for a new single, or it's an EP, or it's a record. I think there's going to be an explosion of new music that happens very soon. And the cool thing is that there's ways to get it out now. There's ways that you can have it
Right.
in the fans' ears, like your track can be in a fan's hand with a keystroke.
Yeah, I mean, I did it through TuneCore. I don't have a label or managers or anything like
Right.
that. And and it went on Spotify, and it's on Apple Music, and it's doing what anyone can do, really. But the thing is also, for what I'm doing, which I love to do, I love to write and record like this. And the thing is what helps is, like, a lot of people want to do this, but you better by themselves, but play all the instruments, and but
Right.
you better know how to play the drums. Because the thing is like, it's one thing if you're a drummer and can play a little guitar. It's another thing if you're a guitar player and play little drums. You know what I mean? That's people are realizing, like, oh, the drummer's pretty important. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's that. He gets the least amount of attention, but yeah, he's the heartbeat. But I'm saying, like, you go back to like Dave Grohl, and he did that first record all by himself. I'm kind of doing the same kind of deal, but without a label or like going at it like a project. It's just, this is what I'm doing, because this is what I'm left, and I've got to go back to your point. I can express myself through drums, and now I can do guitar. I can try to sing. I can write. I can judge myself, have something to judge, instead of just playing the show on the drums, which is great. But now there's this other thing that I'm now realizing that, okay, I can do this, which has been exciting, to say the least. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of great stuff. Because if I can do this, I just happen to be hopefully first so far, as far as like people like kind of coming up with stuff. But I mean, just because I'm an unknown, nobody knows who I am. I mean, people know who I am as far as the fans of the bands that have been in, and my family, but like, I've got, a group of people that will be like, oh my God, oh cool. He can sing, he can write, that's never heard me do this before. So who knows, as far as like, I don't see myself doing a world tour, but who does at this point? So I might as well take it in stride, just keep writing and keep recording. I've got more songs. And so now I know, like, I've got a bar to with,
right.
You know what I mean? I've never had that before. I don't know what, what I mean? Going back to like judging my stuff, I'm like, okay, well now I know it's got to be better than that song, whatever it is. That's my goal. Is that song written yet? Maybe, I don't know. But it's like I said, with the engineer that lives here, he's not doing anything either. So, hey, let's go write a song. Let's go record.
That's a bonus right there. We got in-house engineering, man. You're like, yeah.
My day. Yeah, better than going to the grocery store. Getting out, it's a better place to go.
Right, you don't have to put the mask on to hang out with him. Now it's really cool. Are you
exactly?
You're in Nashville, is that right, or around Nashville?
Yeah, I'm in Hendersonville, which is I'm 20 minutes from downtown Nashville.
Yeah, it's I have much love for the city of Nashville. It's it's a weird bond that I have. A lot of friends down there. Like I said, Nixon from Framing Hanley, he's from down there. I got some George Dukas, a great buddy of mine, country artist, songwriter. He's from down there too. And I just I feel for everybody we're all going through all this stuff. So it's really hard to feel bad because you have to put yourself into that. But man, that area got kind of double effed.
The tornado,
and then
nobody's talking about that tornado.
Right?
Think about you got to stay at home, right? Some of those people are like, okay, where's that?
Yeah,
where's that now?
There's a car through
it. Lost that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember I got an interview with another artist, Jessley, who's from down in Nashville, and her buddy Steve Virginia, and it was scheduled for that Tuesday. And I remember waking up and prepping for the podcast, and my phone blowing up with news headlines and stuff, what was going on, and talked to them, and they were safe, and my other friends down there, and went on and got a I Believe in Nashville. Nashville, I think Nashville TN on Instagram was doing a benefit for the residents for the I Believe in Nashville t-shirts and stuff. So I got a couple of those, and then they, like the next week, they shut everything down. Like the world closed, and then my shirts came, and I was like, man, everybody just forgot about what just happened in Nashville. Man,
Right.
it just kind of a double screw job there. But I hope the city is on its way to. I mean, it's tough. I'm not sure how much work can get done when you can't.
Well, the
get
good
much
thing
work done.
is nobody forgot it here.
Yeah, that's good.
So everybody is still, but that's another, as far as like opening the city up and stuff like that right now, because, there's certain guidelines that there's certain things they can do, certain things they can't do. I mean, those businesses that were wiped out before, but I mean, like there's a great place I used to play called The Basement down there, club, and and you'll see shots of it. Everybody's seen that flag. We Are Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
It's painted on the brick wall. That's the
Yep.
building. Like half of it's gone.
Yep,
It's
the white one.
a
Yep.
place where rock bands would play. The Basement, and that's just like it's gone. And we're like, it's probably will never come back.
Right.
And just to I'm thinking about the people that I know that I know a couple of people that lost where they lived, their
Right.
apartments. And like now you're quarantined home, but you don't have a home, and you got to you find somebody you can stay with and crash their place and now you're going to be stuck with them for, you know what I mean? It's kind of
Right.
like imagine you're couch surfing through a time like this.
Yeah.
I mean, think about those poor bastards.
Oof.
I mean, because they're going through it. I've done it. We've all done it, especially when you're younger and you're like looking for a place to stay and you're kind of moving from house to house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's the artistry. Yeah. I mean, that's where the good songwriting comes from, is those experiences of having to live on people's couches and then them getting sick of you and having to move to another couch. I'm not even a musician. I did that.
yeah, everybody goes through
As a
that
child.
stage.
I know, man. Hey, Greg, thank you so much, man, for the time and for the song. I think it's a upbeat, beautiful portrait of what we're all going through, and I think it's the message is on point. The video is awesome. I think the correlation between the quarantine, the 6 feet of separation thing, I think it all ties in, and I think you're right. Now hearing it back in my mind right now, I'm like, this doesn't have the obvious references to people wearing masks and being in quarantine and stuff.
Yes.
So I think that it will be one of those things that has longevity and will, I think when people hear it in a year, people hear it in 5 years, they go, yeah, we made it through that, and that was really bad, and now I'm going to go outside and appreciate some birds chirping, or go to the grocery
Hopefully
store.
it won't be that song that people goes, oh yeah, it reminds me of the coronavirus. Oh yeah, that song.
Reminds me when I had to
I
get
don't wanna be that.
Reminds me when I had to get dressed up like a bandito to go into the grocery store, and I was like, usually this is what robbers look like, but no, now it's socially acceptable. So it's just my new look.
Right. You have to burn your clothes when you get home.
It is, man. It feels like my hands have consumed enough alcohol that they probably should go to rehab. There's like, oh, more hand sanitizer. I'm like, is it supposed to be numb? Is that different? Is it?
It's like you just committed a murder, and you just kind of like, I've got to clean everything. There's no evidence pointing back to me that I went to the Publix or the Kroger.
Get the bleach out. Get the bleach. Burn the clothes. Make a sandwich. No.
Right. Well, thanks for having me, man. I enjoyed it. I like the combo. It's nice. It's good. Like I said, it's just good to talk to somebody that's, out of my house. That's, somewhere in, some other, communication.
Yeah, man. I think it's opened up some new avenues. And I think that's, we're both kind of on that same the path to find what we can do while we're quarantined. Like I'm in my studio basement and I'm like as content as can be because the options are pretty close to zero.
Yeah, I'm just ready. I'm ready for just something normal to happen.
Yeah.
Something will, and then whatever it is, I'll be excited just to see a glimmer of it. Something.
I know you said before we started recording that you have joined the world of social media. Where can folks find you? You're on which platforms are you on? We'll put the links up in the show notes.
Right now, I started a Facebook fan page, which is Greg Upchurch Music. I've got an Instagram with all of 2 photos on it because I just started it, and it is at Greg Upchurch _music. I have a YouTube channel called Greg Upchurch Music. And I'm going to get a website, but it'll probably be Greg Upchurch Music or Greg Upchurch, one of those 2. But I'm like I said, this has all been sudden. I wrote the song 3 weeks ago, so it's
right.
Or 3.5 weeks ago. So it's, I'm trying to catch up, but an older man trying to catch up to the kids and get hip with Twitch and
I know
all these things. I got to look into all this stuff. I need to, like I said, a tutorial for my 14-year-old.
I was going to say,
I'll be on point.
See if you can get on his iCalendar and schedule out some time.
He's like a James Bond in there with an iPhone because he's got a screen protector where you only can see it if you're looking directly at it, and there's security codes, and it's like Fort Knox in that thing. I'm like, he's hiding something, but I couldn't imagine what I would be like a 14-year-old with the internet.
Yeah,
I could not imagine. I don't want to think about it. I'd rather not know.
No, I am proud to say that during my upbringing there was no camera phones, there was no camera videos, none. There's no evidence left. We bleached it out. It's gone.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I went through those years with, there's no Polaroids left around me. Of me doing something. That's kind of what it would be.
Polaroids. Oh, memories. Hey, Greg, take care of yourself. We'll put the links to all your social medias up in the show notes for the podcast. And I thank you for the time, man. Really appreciate you hanging out, and thank you for the song, man. I think it's everybody needs to hear it because we're all in it together, and it's got that message of we're all get out of this together.
Well, thank you, Cooper, and thanks for, I appreciate you just plugging me and bringing me on here to talk about it. And just, this is always fun for me because this is therapy as well. So thank you for that. And I enjoyed it.
Awesome, man. Take care of yourself, Greg.
All right. See ya.